Alright, I'm going to take you through a couch stretch progression, okay? This is called a couch stretch because theoretically you could do it on your couch, but really you want to use a wall or something that's going to be tall enough that's taller than your leg can reach up the wall, okay? So what this is an end range isometric for your hip. This is not a quad stretch, this is more for the hip. I'll give you a little variation that does stretch the quad a little bit more, but we're aiming more for the top of the quad and the hip flexors here, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get up, find a spot on the wall. You're gonna keep your knee up all the way into the corner. It's important to get it all the way in the corner so that we can get the right angle on this stretch. Notice the top of my foot is on the wall here, okay? So now this is my first step in the progression here. I have my knee out in front, I'm bracing myself with my hands, and now I'm just going to squeeze my butt to push my hips forward. You should always be able to squeeze your butt in this, squeeze your glute, so that you can get a full stretch on the front side of that hip where all those hip flexors are, okay? So as you kind of move around, there's no necessarily wrong angle here. You're just trying to find the angle that's going to get you the best, most effective stretch. If you're not feeling anything in this, then you're ready for step 2 in this progression. So I'll bring this front foot out. Okay, so I have this heel directly underneath my knee, so I'm able to get a nice base here. So that might be tough to get it out. If you're struggling to get it up, then you're just going to need to use your toes to kind of inch that forward, okay? So if this is your home, this is where you want to stay. You want to squeeze that butt, keep pushing those hips down and forward to get that nice hip flexor stretch here, okay? And then you can kind of just explore. You can lean side to side, keep squeezing that glute on and off, okay? And as you're ready, you feel like you can tolerate more of a stretch, you can bring your elbow up. It's going to elevate my chest a little bit. Keep pushing those hips down and forward, squeezing that glute, turn it on and off. Okay, if there's ever a point that you can't squeeze your glute at all, then that is where you need to stop in this stretch. If you can still squeeze it, you feel like you can tolerate more of a stretch, then you can be ready to come up a little higher, okay? So as we go into this next part of the progression, we want to imagine that we're bending at the hip, not at our back. We do not want to arch our back, creating like a banana back here, okay? So we're gonna take our hands here, we're gonna squeeze that glute and hinge up, keeping that back nice and straight. You can begin to kind of push your hip towards your heel, okay? Keep squeezing that glute. If you can still turn it on, great, okay? And as you get better at this, if you can come all the way against your heel, you're doing awesome, okay? So this is the last part of the progression here. Make sure you can always turn that glute on. You only want to spend a couple of minutes in this, maximum 2 to 3 minutes in this. Do this anytime, post-workout, to mobilize yourself. It's awesome before bed. Make sure that you can be loosening up these hip flexors when we're doing a lot of sitting, or even if you're an athlete who's doing a ton of sprinting or things that get your hip flexors really tight. This is going to be a great way to help improve that front anterior mobilization of the hip, those hip flexors, and so that we have better posture. It frees up our back. It's going to relieve back pain. Surprisingly, you may not know that freeing up the front is going to help relieve the back pain, so we're not tilting our pelvis. So this is a great stretch to do whenever you can fit it in. It's just 2 to 3 minutes a side. Once you finish one side, you gotta do the other side. This is the couch stretch progression.